Hi, it's Laura Joy. So I have something kind of odd to talk about today. I think it's something a lot of people these days don't really think about that much, and it it helps me understand life a little bit better to um have this thought. It's you know who is the person who made this object, and why did they do it? Um, let's say a pillow. What went into making a pillow? What is a pillow? Like, here's a pillow. So the main part of it is the shape. It's a triangle. It's like the first thing they knew was that they needed something to support their head. Cause when laying on the ground, it's very hard on this part of my neck to just be laying on the ground like that. It's possible. I've done it before, but it's not very nice, and I end up like having to put my arm up, and then my arm gets numb. So Apollo is someone's solution to um sleeping the wrong way. So I haven't taken a class and found out like who came up with the stitch where they fold in words and then they sew it on the inside. Then they fold it inside out so that it doesn't look like it did. It's a little bit cleaner. It's buried. But another thing is somebody had to say, I have to get fabric, 2 pieces of fabric, and put them together. And that's what they did. They had to sew it together. They had to source something. And for this, they had to cut it to fit a certain shape. And then they had to stitch it up in a different shape. So it's not going to be like it was, but it's going to be something new, like a new shape. But it's the same material, but it's now different, and it needed something to stitch it up. And this just happens to be the same thing pretty much that it's made out of. Stitching it up again, it's just in a different pattern, a different structure to combine it. And this is a woven cloth. Someone had to figure out that you take cotton strands from a plant, and they probably what they did is they rolled it up like that, and they're like, oh, I can make like a little worm or make a thinner line. And when I put the fibers together, it stays like that. And someone had to figure out how to make a machine to do that, like a ton of it, so they can get this done. Probably at first they start out just rolling it up like that. And then they wove those together. I know, something I did as a kid was, I was fascinated with crafts and stuff, going outside. Like, playing outside consisted of going out with my sister. First thing she taught me how to do was make bowls for food out of the dirt. So we just took dirt that we just dug off the surface. There's just the topsoil, and then we mixed it with water. I actually just like spit in it at first to make it combine, because like, oh, my spit helps it combine. So, but then my mouth got dry, so I had to find another source of water. And that's when we discovered the hose. But oh, also, I figured out after digging a while that after a while you get to a certain level in the ground and there's water sitting in the ground. It's the top layer is always dry, and then underneath it's wet. Then underneath that it's a whole pond. That's where we lived. That wouldn't happen in the desert, that because the desert's top layer is just completely dry. You have to go really far down, so far down that you get to the gassed area where it can knock you out. But we would do that. We would dig I would dig until I got to water, and then when you use the water to make the pots, the little bowls, and sometimes I tried to eat the bowls, but it wasn't too good. You can get worse that way. I didn't somehow, but and then we would like play house and try to copy. Oh, what does mommy do? You know, mommy sweeps, and she cooks food. She gives us food. I remember falling asleep in peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all the time. And in birthday cakes, just like falling asleep face down, which is kind of dangerous. But I'm going off on a tangent. We're talking about fibers. Okay. Mom showed us actually that you can take grass, or you can take, she told us how to weave things. And I took that and I got grass, and I wove grass together. But before that, I think what I did was I took sticks and I was setting the sticks on top of each other, and then it happened in like they scatter and the wind blows them, and sometimes it blew them at a different angle. So I saw that you can make different shapes and not just one shape. Anyway, the sticks didn't work for that because it wasn't bendy, but grass was bendy, so we could make a weave out of the grass. But now the problem with that is that the grass is breakable, so you either have to have layers of grass or get another material. But well, this is real life. This isn't video games, you know. This is actually real life. And people think that real life is too advanced for them or something, so they just don't go out and figure things out on their own like this. But it's very important. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. For Apollo. Bless you. Bless you. Hey, you turn your head? Oh. dump truck. It's a dump truck. Or it's a car with a very large motor. Okay. So, yeah, somebody got something to make a weave. And this is a pretty strong weave. It's probably got some like plastic stuff in it, and it's this way and it's this way. And let me see. Can't see the megapixels. Yeah, it's somebody had to figure out that the tighter the weave, the firmer it is, the less likely to tear it is. The stronger, the more resistance it puts up. Somebody figured that out. Somebody also figured out that you can change the color of it, because cotton isn't white. Cotton is like tan yellow. So somebody figured out that you can use bleach, and you pour this substance thing on this fiber, and it turns it a different color. Somebody figured that out, because then they didn't exactly have the knowledge that of the small molecular world. They just know that certain things worked. They just knew that. And they had a lot of trust in things. And sometimes it wasn't rightly placed. Things like lead and things like cyanide, or lots of things. And it's easy to say nowadays in the 21st century that, oh, we're over that, we know everything now. But like, honestly, do you know that? Do you know all the poisons? Like, I don't. So I'm still operating with this level of trust of my environment, and level of trust and being able to see that something works, and just knowing it works, and then having to use my judgment to decide whether or not something does not work. It's sad, because a lot of people don't trust their ability to say something is bad, and that's gonna kill you eventually. So, like, everyone's like, don't judge me, don't do that. Like, I'm sorry, but it's survival. If I don't judge whether or not where I'm gonna step is gonna fall, how am I going to keep myself from falling off a cliff? If I'm climbing up the side of a mountain, or if I'm crossing a bridge where the boards are rotten, I have to judge whether or not I should go on that, because I have to know that the boards are rotten, therefore the boards should not be stepped on. Because if I do that, my mass is going to fall down, and the structure of my being is going to not be able to handle the force of hitting the ground. I have to judge that. It's not about malicious intent. It's about survival, But I like to do that with a lot of things. Like, you just pick an object, like cabinet. Who came up with a cabinet, and how did they decide to, do that? There's Jackson. Now, only God made Jackson. Oh, God made dogs. Yeah. And people. Some, I can't make this. I can't. I wouldn't have the level of intelligence to do that. But I know something had to think about it before it was. It's just, there is nothing made that was not thought about. So, anyway, love you guys. Mwah.